We're all after pretty much the same thing, right? A life that just feels good, a life that has some meaning, some real contentment. We've all got this perfect picture of it in our minds. But what if the map we're all using to get there is, well, completely wrong? So, let me just start with a big, kind of challenging question for you. What if the very way you're hunting for happiness is the one thing that's actually keeping you from finding it? I know, it's a provocative idea, but stick with me here because this could honestly change how you see, well, everything. All right, let's dive into our first big mistake. And it's a problem that's so common, so widespread, that most of us don't even realize we're making it. Most of us think the problem is something external. We tell ourselves these stories, right? Oh, I could finally be happy if only I had more money. Or if I just found the perfect partner. Or maybe if I just had more discipline. That one key ingredient always seems to be just around the corner, just forever out of our grasp. And this right here, this is the crucial shift in perspective. We are so focused on achieving a good life, like it's some kind of mountain we have to climb, but the real problem isn't the climb itself. It's that we haven't even drawn a decent map. The real issue is that our ideas about what a good life even is are super vague, and that's what sets us up for failure from the very beginning. So what happens? Well, here's the direct result. When our definition of a good life is all fuzzy and unclear, we end up creating these expectations that just don't match up with reality. And when life inevitably doesn't live up to our poorly defined little fantasy, we end up feeling unhappy, confused, and like we failed.
Okay, so this brings us to the second huge mistake we're all making. Because our goals are so vague, we end up chasing the wrong thing completely. Let's talk about why making happiness your main target can be a total trap.
I mean, if you ask most people what they want most out of life, you're going to hear this a lot. I just want to be happy. Or you'll hear about specific goals, a promotion, a new house, a dream vacation, that they believe are the surefire tickets to getting there. And let's be real, we all know what this feels like. The dictionary calls it a state of well-being and contentment, but we know it as that warmth, that joy, that amazing moment when everything just feels right. But here's the catch. Here is the unspoken truth that we all kind of try to ignore. Happiness is temporary. It's fickle. It is so fleeting. It comes and then it goes. It isn't some permanent destination you can just arrive at and then set up camp forever. The thing is, we humans are adaptation machines. That amazing new car that made you feel like a king yesterday, well, tomorrow it's just your car. The thrill fades. What was once an incredible peak just becomes the new normal baseline. And trying to live your whole life on that peak, it's like trying to catch a bubble. It's impossible to hold on to. So, if chasing a feeling is a fool's errand, then where do we turn? Well, let's look at a scientific model that actually shows us where our real power to create lasting contentment lies. Okay, now this is where things get really, really interesting. According to a whole lot of research, our general sense of well-being breaks down into three main parts. A massive 50% is determined by our genetics, sort of our natural default setting. Then you've got our life circumstances, our job, our health, how much money we have, which, and this is the shocker, only accounts for about 10%. But it's that third piece, that huge 40% slice, that totally changes the game. 40%. Let that sink in. A massive chunk of our contentment isn't determined by our genes or by what happens to us. It's determined by our own intentional choices and our daily activities. This is the part of the happiness equation that we can actively control, and guess what? It's a lot bigger than most of us think. So, the big question is, how do we actively take control of that 40%? Well, it all starts with understanding that a good life isn't something you find, it's something you build. And, as we all know, building anything worthwhile takes work. And the good news is, the blueprints for this work aren't some big secret. As the author Jonathan Fields points out, we've actually had the answers for thousands of years, echoed in philosophy and religion, and now it's being backed up by science. The knowledge has always been there for us. But, and this is a big but, knowing the path is not the same as walking it. The reason so few people actually find this kind of life, even with the map right in their hands, is because it's hard. It demands commitment. It demands real, consistent effort. So here it is, the final, crucial mindset shift you have to make. Stop chasing happiness directly. Seriously. Instead, start to see it as a wonderful byproduct. It's that positive feeling that just naturally shows up when you're actively and intentionally living a life that's aligned with your true values. So, what does this work actually look like in the real world? Well, first, it's about doing a radical self audit. I mean, carefully examine every single belief you hold about what makes a good life. Second, you have to be ruthless. Discard the ideas and expectations you've picked up along the way that don't actually serve you. And finally, you have to commit. Commit to the daily actions, the habits, the choices, the practices that will build the life you've now clearly defined for yourself. Ultimately, it really all comes down to this one thing. Living a good life isn't a matter of luck, and it's not a matter of circumstance. It is a matter of choice and effort. It requires work. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to begin?